All right, let's talk about learning Spanish. And I think we can all agree it's way more than just memorizing a bunch of words, right? We're going to peel back some really cool layers today and get into the details that really make the language tick.
Look, we all know hola. That's the easy part. But have you ever stopped to think about why capitalizing Monday is a total rookie mistake in Spanish? Or, and this is a big one, how one tiny little mark over a letter can change the entire meaning of a word? Seriously, this is the stuff that takes you from just speaking Spanish to really getting it. So let's dive in.
Okay, so when you start learning any language, you need a map, right? A blueprint. And the good news with Spanish is that the basic framework is probably going to look pretty familiar, especially if you've ever tried to learn another language.
You've got these 4 big pillars that official programs use to structure everything: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Makes sense, right? This is the foundation, the stuff you absolutely have to get started. It's the bedrock of your learning journey.
But here's the catch. That framework, it's super important, don't get me wrong, but the real secrets, the stuff that gives Spanish its soul, that's all hidden in the details. The kind of stuff textbooks don't always put front and center.
All right, let's jump into one of these so-called unwritten rules. And it's something you do like every single day. Writing the date. Sounds simple, I know. But how it's done in Spanish, well, it shows a totally different way of thinking.
Just look at that. The difference is crystal clear. On the left, you've got English, big capital letters for the day and month, a comma, the whole deal. Then you look at the Spanish on the right. Whoa, everything's lowercase. It almost looks cleaner, right? Simpler. So what's going on here? Well, in Spanish, days and months just aren't as special as they are in English. They're not proper nouns that need a capital letter. Nope, they're just common nouns like table or house. That's why they're lowercase. And that comma we automatically throw in, yeah, you can forget about that. It's a tiny change, but it's a huge rule.
And you know, this isn't just something for beginners. Check out this comment from a Reddit user. They're fluent, but they said they never even thought about this stuff until they started teaching others. It just becomes second nature. It's just how it works. And that's the cool part, right? There's always something new to discover.
Okay, so we've looked at words. Now let's zoom in, like way in. We're going to talk about a single, tiny little mark that has a ton of power, the accent mark, or tilde.
In English, accents are kind of just for pronunciation, right? Well, in Spanish, they're on a whole other level. They're a grammatical tool. An accent mark can be the only thing that separates 2 words that are spelled exactly the same, but have totally different meanings. It's a real game changer.
Okay, this is the perfect example. Take the word animo. With the stress on the I, no accent, it means I cheer. Simple enough. But put an accent on that first A, animo, and suddenly it's a noun. It means mood or spirit. Okay, one more. Move that accent to the O at the end, animo, and now it's the past tense. He or she cheered. Are you kidding me? 1 word, 3 different meanings, all because of where you put one little mark. That is just wild.
All right, let's zoom back out for a second. Because all these little rules we're talking about, they're not just random. They're actually clues. They're like threads that connect you right back to the culture and the history of the language.
Think about this for a second. Someone asks you, "How are you?" in English. If you've got a headache, you might just say, "Ugh, bad." No big deal. But in a lot of Spanish-speaking cultures, saying mal, bad, is a really big deal. You save that for serious stuff like a family member is sick or you lost your job. It's not for a bad hair day. The word itself carries so much more weight, and that's all about culture.
And hey, remember we talked about the days of the week being lowercase? Well, there's a story there, and it's an ancient one. The names come straight from the Romans, who named them after the celestial bodies they could see. So lunes is the moon's day, luna. Martes is Mars's day. Miércoles for Mercury. You get the idea. I mean, how cool is that? Your daily calendar is basically a little piece of the ancient Roman sky.
So you see, this is what it's all about. Learning a language like Spanish isn't just about collecting words. It's more like being a detective. You're uncovering all these layers of history and culture and logic.
We went from the big, official framework all the way down to one tiny accent mark. And what we're seeing is that every little piece tells a story. It tells you something about how people communicate and even how they see the world around them.
So, here's my challenge to you. The next time you come across a rule in Spanish that feels a little weird or different, don't just memorize it. Dig a little deeper. Ask why. Because I promise you, there's always a story there. The only question is, what story will you find next?